Hey guys, my name's Bray and this is my first video, so it's not professional in any way. I'm on my bed, there's stuff happening over there, the light's going down. It's not gonna be a high quality situation here, but that's okay because really what the point of this video is, I wanted to make a response video to Sarah from Wicked Reading. I love her, I watch all of her videos. If you don't know who she is, go check her channel out. She's absolutely amazing. But she made a horror bingo card type of situation where there were 25 prompts. You had to read 25 books. You have from this October to next October to complete it. And I thought, what a fantastic idea. So here we are. I filled out mine. This is what it looks like for anybody that does not know. So I'm just gonna go over what I'm gonna read because I love to read. I'm a horror girly. I love me some good, great, gory, paranormal horror. I love some high-end fantasy. So we're just gonna talk about horror mostly on this channel, and we're mostly gonna talk about horror reads on this channel. Maybe some games, maybe some movies. We'll see where it goes. But the point being, this is my TBR. It is subject to change because I don't know if all prompts are gonna be fit by the books I picked. That's part of the fun here. But I will say now, there are some books, I tried to do hard mode as much as I could. There's just some that just, it's not gonna work for me. I can't find them. I don't know where to look. I don't know how to handle this. I'm by no means a fast reader, or like I can't read 10 books in a month. It's not happening here. But I love to read, and I do manage to more than average, I would say, books per month. Maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, right into it. I've got my notes. I've got some books. Most of these books I don't even own yet, which I thought was fun. I've tried to pick books I've never heard of before that I don't know much about going in, so we can figure it out then. And I'm gonna do like a wrap-up video at the end of everything, maybe an in-between video, how far I am. But I thought it'd be really cool to see other responses to this video, see what other people are talking about, see what they say, find books that they like. It's just a fun thing, and I want to be part of the community. I need to be part. I want to be there. So I'm manifesting it. We're doing it. We're going here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from the top row, go across, go down. You'll figure it out. If you have the prompts, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. So the first one is published in 2024, and hard mode is you have to finish the book before 2024 ends. I have my book already. It is Day of the Door by Laurel Hightower. I've already started reading it. I am not far by any means. I started it today. I started it at work, actually. So I'm only on chapter 3. So far, very interesting, very good. It's psychological mixed with paranormal. I'm definitely going to finish it before the end of the year. So I know that that's going to be a check mark off. I've never read anything by her, but the cover, look at it! That alone will give me nightmares. So I'm so super excited, and in an intense shard of trauma poised to cut you. Enough said. I'm in. There's nothing else to it. The next prompt is End of Times Are Near, and it has to have an epilogue for the hard mode. So apocalyptic, whatever, end of world, however you want to get to the end of the world, but an epilogue. I am going to read Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. This will actually be a reread. I have already read this book, so I know what happens. That's why I knew it had an epilogue, but rereads are not off limits for this challenge, so we are going to stick with that. This is a end of the world story about transgender women and men struggling to find themselves. There's these gangs that are trying to take them all out because testosterone is what ended the world. It's very interesting. A new twist on End of the World. So definitely gonna reread this one. I wasn't too keen the first time I read it, but we'll see. The next prompt is This is Halloween, and the prompt for hard mode is that they have to talk about trick-or-treating. So I'm going to read Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge, and I don't know much about this book except that it's like this entity around Halloween where they like pray to, kind of very Children of the Corn-esque, I'm thinking. But I'm pretty sure they talk about trick-or-treating, so I'm not too sure if this is going to work for that prompt, but we're gonna see. The next prompt is blood on the cover. For hard mode, it has to be majority of blood on the cover. So I am going to read The Shuddering by Anya Alborn? I don't know if I'm saying it right, I'm sorry. Mostly just because that's a majority of blood on the cover. I know nothing going into this book except it's got pretty good ratings on Goodreads. Other than that, I don't know much. Hey! Sorry. My cat over there is scratching things. And he shouldn't be. But I don't know much going into it, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know the synopsis. I don't know the plot points. I know nothing. So that's just on there because it fits the prompt. But it's got some pretty good reviews, so we're going to see. The fifth one is woods or wilderness, but it cannot have trees on the cover, which I thought was going to be a very hard prompt to fulfill, especially because the book I wanted to read I didn't think had trees on it. I wanted to read In the Woods by Lee Mountford, but it didn't count. It had a tree, one, but can't do it. So I'm going to read The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her, and the cover is just beautiful. 2 girls, all flowers on the back, and flowers don't count. As she stated in her thing, flowers don't count, so I'm counting it. So it's typical. This forest has all these women go missing in it. These 2 girls come back to find their past, confront it, go over everything. It's very interesting. I'm excited to read it. I've never read anything by her, but it fit the prompt. It looks really cool, and I'm in. Some forest horror. Let's roll. The next one is Honoring the Classics, and it has to be written before 1950. This one was hard because I wanted to find one that I didn't know anything about. I know a lot of the classics, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, they're fabulous and they're classics for a reason. But I wanted to go in to find something brand new. That's what I was really trying to do with this list. So I'm going to read The House on the Borderland by William Hope Hodgson. And when I Googled it, it says it was written in 1908. And that he goes to this house and he finds manuscripts, and it's a haunted house story, and who doesn't love one of those? And it will just be interesting to see early on haunted house stories. I'm totally intrigued. I can't wait. Next is translated work, and it has to have a translator's note. I'm going to read Battle Royale by Koshun Takami, maybe. I did read all the manga. I know the storyline of it. I know the premise of it. I've never read the actual physical book that the manga was derived from, so that's going to be really, really exciting. I do not know if there is a translator's note in it, so that may or may not fit the prompt, so I may be losing hard mode on that one. But I loved the drama of it. A group of classmates, very Hunger Games-esque, but I feel a little bit more, there's more higher stakes, I feel, because you've grown up with these kids, that you've known them since you started school to the time where you got put into this game for population control. It just seems rough to hunt down somebody that you've known your entire life, basically. I can't imagine having to do that. And the manga was brutal and graphic and gory and beautiful, and it made me feel all the feels. So I'm hoping the book will also make me feel all the feels. Number 8 is Cover Pick, but you can't know anything about this book at all. I picked Last Days by Adam L. G. Neville. I picked it because the cover looks absolutely amazing. It's a house in the far distance. It's foggy. It's lit by the mist, the trees. There's blood on the trees. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm here for it. I assume you're going to be a wilderness camp horror story, maybe slasher-y, maybe zombie. I have no idea, but the cover looked amazing and I'm in. Let's go. Number 9 is Reaper Read, and to count for hard mode, it has to be death personified. It has to be a person, somebody that represents death, something like that. I chose Scythe by Neil Shusterman, I think. And I picked it because it was an interesting concept. You can't die anymore. The world has advanced so much that death is no longer an issue, which is cool in and of itself. So they need a way to, you know, get rid of people, in a sense. So they have reapers that come around and, you know, you get trained for it. It's a job. And I just think that's really cool. And that it's a group of kids that are being trained for it, I think. I'm not too sure. I've never read anything like it. I've never read anything by him before, so it'll be interesting. But I think it's a really cool concept. And I think them acting as death themselves, but still being real people, is a different spin on death. So I'm counting it, because who wouldn't? This is Ween. We're taking a Ween break. Move, please. Thank you. All right. Number 10 is title has a spooky word. Hard mode is 2 or more words have to be spooky. So I picked the Southerners Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Ooh, mouthful. I can never get that straight in one full sentence. Never happening. It's by Grady Hendrix. I've read Horror Store by Grady Hendrix before, and I loved it. I thought it was a laugh riot, disgusting, just gut-wrenching, and it just, the idea of it was so much fun. I loved his writing style. I thought it was absolutely a great time in a horrible situation in a haunted store. So I can't imagine that this isn't going to be a good time. It's about vampires. It's by him, who combines humor mixed with horror, mixed with gore. Should be a good time. Meets the prompt. I'm in. Number 11, Dead Man Walking. But it has to be part of a series. This was hard. The only zombie series I've ever known is Resident Evil, and I am a big Resi fan through and through. I love me some Resident Evil, but I didn't want to do that. I have the Resident Evil books. Let's try something different here. So I picked Harvest of Ruin by author Mungeli. I virtually know nothing except it's the end of the world. There's Walking Dead, whether that means there's zombies or just reanimated corpses, I'm not sure yet. But I do know it's part of a series, and the end of them, they like change throughout the seasons. So I think there's 4. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's 4. So it seems interesting that you were going to follow this character, I assume 1, who knows. We're going to follow them throughout maybe an entire year of the end of the world. I'm not too sure, but hopefully it's a good time. Hopefully I'm invested enough to read the others in the series, and hopefully I find a new great zombie series that takes a new spin on it, more dark than Resident Evil. Resident Evil's kind of more humorous and niche over there. It's more actiony. It's a good time, but I'm looking for something more substantial, something dark, something creepy, something ominous. Number 12 is genre bending, and it has to be a genre you do not usually read. I love me some horror, but I do not read a lot of horror romance, horror erotica. Those don't usually blend in my mind well. I'm not here for the romance during a slasher. I'm not here for we found love after the paranormal effect. It's not who I am. Call me pessimistic, but I feel like in a horror situation we have bigger things to worry about than love. So I picked horror romance, horror erotica style to try. We'll see where it goes. So I picked My Girl by Audrey Rush, and supposedly it's this psychopath stalker man who, when he gets bored, he kills his prey, I guess, who, we're done, you bored me, you're gone. But he is intrigued by this girl who is also just as twisted as he is when he decides to catch her, and I guess they have like this weird fling. There is a section on the comments that says, and the description of the book that says, you know, extreme content warning, this is a very graphic, adult contents inside, so I assume we're gonna get some raunchy stuff here. So it should be interesting to read how it progresses. The cover's pretty cool. I enjoyed the two bloody hands coming together. That was neat. I enjoyed that. So we'll see. I'm not hopeful, but I'm going to keep an open mind. It could be so disgustingly perfect, is where I'm hoping it goes. The next is a 5-star read, and for the hard mode, it has to be one that you predicted to be a 5-star read. So for this, I am going to pick Tormented by Lee Mountford. It's the second in his extreme horror series, I want to say. I don't believe it's his other series. I think it's extreme horror series. And you're going to see a common theme here. I love me some Lee Mountford. He is amazing. I read all of his haunted series from start to finish, and I read them in such quick succession. They like lasted me a day. He was such a good writer. I never could put his books down, and I was so invested in the characters and so hopeful for them. And I've read other things by him. The first book I read of the extreme horror series was Into the Woods, and it was brutal and amazing. And he's this British author. I want to say he's from the UK, and he is just this amazing writing style, and it keeps you hooked and it keeps you going. And I know that it's going to be a 5-star read. I love him. I love all his books so far. And it's about a mental institution in a haunted mental institution. Who doesn't want to read that? That's a good time, right? I love me some paranormal, haunted, medical institutions. Yes, please, let's go. I love that. So I know it's going to be a 5-star. I'm hopeful, and prove me wrong. Go ahead, but I don't think it will. The next one is a BIPOC author, which I honestly had to Google. I didn't even know what that was. And it has to be an author that's new to you, which is good, because honestly, my author knowledge is pretty slim at this point. I'm pretty new to the whole super booktube, book talk realm, so it wasn't really hard to pick this one. I picked Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw, and it's it looks more like an Asian inspired ghost story, to be more like the Grudge era realm. I don't know too much about it. It's been on my TBR forever because the cover was just so dang cool. I had to read it. I love ghosts and demons. That stuff will keep me up at night. Slashers, yeah, you're a good time. You're fun. You're just funny sometimes, but demons and ghosts, man, that's where it'll get you. So I don't know much about it. Super excited to read it. I can't wait to pick it up. Next is a cryptid, and it has to be one you've never heard of before or know anything about. And that one was hard. I don't read too many cryptid books. I'm not a big monster fan. I don't really like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster or chupacabras, or like, I love to learn about them, but I'm not a big read up monster mash type style. So that one was pretty hard to pick, and I really wanted a different inspired type of story, maybe from another culture that I've never heard of, but I couldn't find any, and I just didn't want to take all of Sarah from Wicked Readings books off of her list. So I picked Lovely, Dark, and Deep by Megan Stockton. I'm not too sure what kind of cryptid's even in this book. I know it's about a village, and every year something happens and they live in the water. It's some type of water creature that comes out. I'm not too sure what that is, so I'm intrigued to see. It's not my cup of tea always, but we're gonna give it a go. Cryptids can be fun. We're gonna see. So hopefully I find a new type of cryptid that I've never heard before. So this book could or could not qualify for this. We're gonna find out. Number 16, title has a number, and more than one number is hard mode. I could not pick one for hard mode, so this one's just not hard mode. I'm just saying that right out now. I'm not finding one. I'm not gonna hunt more. This is where we're stopping at it. and I picked Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. This group of friends goes to a cabin, things erupt, there's somebody there, classic cabin horror story. You don't know what's happening. Is it somebody in the cabin killing people? Is it somebody that you have no idea killing people? Is it the host of the cabin killing people? You know, classic slasher whodunit. Can't go wrong. It should be entertaining. Hopefully there's a weird spooky twist at the end that nobody saw coming that will shock me. I love those, but we'll see. Next is Satanic Panic, and this one has to have an item of the occult used in it. I picked The Mark by Lee Mountford because I know that this one's a demonic story. I know that this one is very into the occult. This girl wakes up, she has discovered she has an occult symbol branded into her body, and she's trying to figure out what the occult is, how it got there, what to do. She's haunted by stuff, she's cursed. So I'm using the fact that she has the occult symbol tattooed, branded, what have you, in her skin already, as that's the occult symbol. It's Lee Mountford. Know I'm gonna love it. Know it's gonna be a great time. So we're gonna go with that one. Next is Book Club Pick. It doesn't have a hard mode. I don't belong to any book clubs. As much as I would absolutely love to belong to a book club, I don't belong to any. So I used what everybody's been talking about, which is Iron Hollow by Tim McGregor. Everybody's been talking about it. It's gotten great reviews on Goodreads. Every booktuber I watch has talked about it, says they love it, says it's a great retelling of Frankenstein, a new twist on it. Couldn't go wrong. Everybody's raving about it. I want to rave about it too. So there we go. We're picking that one. Next is Pink Horror, and it has to be somebody's debut book. This one's been on my list. I wanted to read it, so might as well give it a go. We're going to read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Great girl coming of age story. We follow her rage, we follow her transition, we find that she has a weird obsession with eyeballs. The cover has eyeballs. Creepy, scares me, I'm in. Wanted to read it, it's her debut book. Can't go wrong. We're gonna see what the hype is. Next is Multiple POV, and this one has to have multiple timelines and multiple people to consider for hard mode. I have started listening to Mr. Lullaby by J.H. Market, and this wasn't on my pick to be the multiple POV, but I was in my car and I was driving and I started it because Spotify recommended it to me, so I was like, okay, we'll put it on. And the second it said the first name and now, I was like, oh, we're gonna have timelines. This fits perfectly. And so far, we have followed 6 different characters. We have followed 2 different timelines, possibly more to come. Fits beautifully. Town has the serial killer stalker in the past that has taken everybody out. It's very confusing. It probably wouldn't be as confusing if I wasn't listening to it, because I feel like I'm losing some of it by listening to it. But I'm gonna see it through. We're gonna find out. It's very creepy, very disturbing, very serial killer meets paranormal, I think, because there's a talking shell in here. I don't know if the guy is just mentally broken and he thinks the shell's actually talking. I don't know if the shell's actually talking to him yet. We're gonna find out. We're gonna see. So far, I'm really enjoying it. So we're gonna see where it goes. It's a very long book. It's about, I want to say 19 hours to listen to. So it's a very, very long book. No, 9 hours? I don't know. It's a very long book. Next is As Seen on the Big Screen, but you can't have seen the show or the film that it's based off. And that one was hard. So I dug and dug and I Googled books that have been turned into movies. And The Tenant by Ronald Topper came on. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. And I read the synopsis. The cover was exquisitely creepy. And from what I get, the movie got turned more into a comedy than anything. but the book sounds like a psychological horror. He's in his own descent into madness. He moves into this apartment that was owned by somebody else, and that person is still haunting it, and he's going into his own psychosis and breaking down, and it just sounds intense. So I'm hoping that after the book, maybe I'll want to watch the movie, though the movie didn't get good reviews from what I can see, so we're gonna hope for the best, but expect to not really enjoy it. The next one's Out of Your Comfort Zone, and it has to be an author that you've read from before. I didn't do hard mode for this one. I picked sci-fi horror. I love me some sci-fi. Star Wars and me, we get along great. But I don't read sci-fi horror. I really don't. It's not my niche. So I picked Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud. Sorry. And it just, spiders on the moon, gigantic, creepy, very alien-esque. They tried to harvest them for their own unique abilities. They're silk, and they thought they were all extinct. Turns out they're not, surprise. And it just, I thought maybe if we add spiders to my sci-fi, that will significantly creep me out, because I can't function with spiders. It's not happening at all. Can't do it. So we're gonna see. 23 is short story, but has to have 12 or more stories in it. I picked The Nightmare Collection by Lee Mountford. It will be a reread. I did already read it. It was amazing. It has a lot of prequel stories to his other stories that he wrote full-length books of, which I found absolutely amazing, and I'm already hooked and I want to read those full-length stories. I do have that one. Yeah, I got it for free, which is why it's in a binder. I don't believe there are 12 stories in here. There might be. I don't think so. So, but it's very thick, very big. I loved every minute of it. So I'm excited to reread it. It has a ton of different stories in it. You will always find something that you will want to read more of by him. He doesn't fall into one specific category. He is very more paranormal, but he does write a little bit of everything. So I'm super excited to reread this and get a whole new perspective on it, honestly. 24 is TBR, and one that has to have been on your list for 2 years, or your longest running one. Mine is going to be It by Stephen King. I've had it since I was in high school. I've never read it. I've started to read it, and then I always fail it. It always just goes on the wayside. I think maybe I'm intimidated by it. Maybe, I don't know. I've seen the movies. I love the movies. I want to read it. And I've always wanted to read it. And it's always on my shelf. And it's always on my Kindle. And it's everywhere. I have so many copies of it. And I've just never done it. So this is going to force me to do it. And we're going to finish it. And we're going to be proud of ourselves for doing it. And we're going to be happy. And we're going to love it. Because it's a classic. And the last prompt for the lovely bingo card is Creepy Crawlies, and the cover has to have some representation of the creepy crawly on it. So I picked Under Bethel by Hubert L. Mullins, and this one is, again, an arachnid story. The cover has this girl screaming through a spider web. I'm counting the spider web as some representation of said arachnid. That's what drew me to it anyway, is I knew that it was going to be about spiders. There's a cave, people go missing, they go hunting down in the cave to find the lost people. Turns out there's gigantic spiders. It's a horror of creepy crawlies and monstrous, just gut-wrenching gore of spiders, and I'm in. I'm ready to be significantly scared and terrified of the teeny tiny spiders in my room that I know will grow big and horrible and destroy me. Totally up for it. So that is our list. That is our bingo card. That is our goal for October to October. We have a whole year to accomplish this. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that she did these, and I'm so ready to start reading, and I'm so ready to bring you all with me and update you guys and see what you all picked And I want to see more of these videos, and I want her to continue to like create these prompts, and it was a great idea. And I'm so envious that she created it out of who knows where, how long she was working on it, I don't know. But it's gonna prompt me to read more. I have my boyfriend fully on board with it. I have my friends fully on board with it. So I'm super excited. I don't think either of them will complete the challenge, but I'm 100% ready to complete this challenge and follow her journey on it, follow my journey on it, follow fellow booktubers' journeys on it, follow everybody's. I cannot get enough of horror. Let's keep reading. Let's keep getting spooked. Let's keep telling everybody else what spooks us. And hopefully we learn some great things. Hopefully it's a great time. So I'm super excited. So thank you all for listening to my TBR list. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys have any other recommendations, maybe for hard mode that I couldn't find. Maybe I'll switch it up. Thank you to Sarah from Wicked Reading for creating this lovely bingo card and allowing me to take part in it. I will see you all next time. Happy haunting!